We're going to start with just a quick preview of the learning targets, the prompts and directions for today's lesson. Then we're going to go through our kind of cycle of reading, thinking, talking and listening, and we'll do a little bit of writing.
The 4 lesson objectives were I can annotate the text, I can cite text evidence to support my analysis of the text, I can engage in a rich evidence-based conversation about the text. And there was a 4th learning target around staying focused and participating in a positive way.
Paragraph 59, it says, I noticed that she stumbled on the word bloomer, and then she laughed.
Oh, yeah.
So I think, it's more like oh, well, you got your leg kind of stuck right there, so
Yeah.
I'm just going to walk away and be happy because I don't really like you. It's more of that than self-confidence.
Okay, good.
We try to have a cycle almost every day of time to read, either together or independently, kind of struggle with and think about a text, and then time to listen to each other and talk to each other about the text.
I left it for her with Sister Ignatius with a little note, best wishes. I told myself I'd done everything I could.
I wanted them to make a claim about Claudette and whether they felt she had reached stage 4 in the text, and that they were able to support the claim with evidence, but also the real important part was their analysis, where they explain how the text detail supports the claim. And that's where they really have to do some of that heavy lifting, that sort of difficult thinking their way through the text.
Let's take 5 minutes just to pick one of those, a text detail that supports it, and then a little analysis.
What do you think about Claudette? I thought she felt more comfortable in the environment. Well, yeah, that's the quote I really picked. Okay. And I chose a quote from page 243 and 244, where it said, beads of sweat stood out on my forehead. I could feel my jaws gaping open, my tongue lolling out of the left side of my mouth, and ... And then I go over to paragraph 76 on 244, and then she says, I threw my head back, a howl clawing its way up my throat. I thought that this pretty much suggested that Claudette didn't reach stage 4 yet, because that the quotes, they pretty much show that she wasn't comfortable in the environment of the ball, and that nothing, as soon as the spotlight hit her, nothing really made sense anymore.
The biggest thing I did was just to move around the room and engage in some of those conversations that they were having at their tables.
Yeah, you guys jump in. What do you think? Do you agree with Jarrell, or?
Yeah, I agree.
I do a lot of modeling, especially early in the year, about how to annotate, what kinds of things you look for when you annotate, stressing that every word counts for an author, so why is the author using this language? What is the point that they're trying to get across? We're going to build towards writing a piece that defends their claims using text evidence. And so the real important part I felt was their analysis, where they explained how the text detail supported the claim.
She said all of a sudden, the only thing I could remember to do was pump and pump, and a flash of white hot light. My months at St. Lucy's had vanished, and I was a terrified animal again. And I said this suggests that Claudette has not reached stage 4, because to be a human, you have to be confident and try not to freeze in front of big crowds. You have to try and get through it.
Okay, good.
I think that I believe that Claudette wasn't ready because she just froze and she didn't know what to do, and Maribel tried to help her, and the only thing she could think of was turning on her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ephraim, what do you think?
Well, I had the same quote as Jarrell, and I said that with the beads of sweat stood on my forehead. And I felt that she wasn't comfortable because she's being forced to be something that she's not. So it's not comfortable to be something that you're not. So.
Okay. So sounds like you guys are in agreement. Is there anything? What would you argue from the other side? Is there anything you saw that would suggest she is ready?
Oh, well, I think... Oh, when the ball started, and she, the pack and the brothers, they started conversating. Mm-hmm. She was growling. Even though it was growl, she was starting to piece together sentences.
Yeah, that was funny part.
And later on, when she actually got irritated, she snapped out like a clear human sentence. And I think that shows that she's starting to feel more comfortable, and she's starting to get to know the host culture a little more.
Sounds like, for the most part, you guys feel she's not quite there yet. Okay. So we have a few more minutes. I want you to just kind of take one another's ideas, talk about them a little bit more, and fill in the rest of your note catchers. Okay. Excellent job. Great analysis and great text details to support your claim. Good job. Thank you, guys.
All right, so right here in 71, paragraph 71 on 243, where she said in the beginning, where she says, it says, I tried to skulk off into Mirabella's corner, but Kyle pushed me into the spotlight. We can say that that's showing low self-confidence.
Yeah, I think anyone would act like that though.
And it also says, the nuns swept our hair back into high bouffant hairstyles. This made us look more girlish and less inclined to eat people.
Wait, where is that?
It's on 66.
Okay. So would you say that was that they feel comfortable, or that they're
not comfortable and
they're not comfortable?
They're trying to make them into something they're not.
That's what I was trying to say when she was sweating, like they were making her something that she's not. Like they're trying to make her into a human when she's naturally a wolf.
You remember in the beginning they said, if you don't pass the academy, you don't get accepted by the wolves or the humans. So if she goes back to the wolves, she's not going to be accepted there. So I think she's way out in her own wilderness.
Oh, so just the fact that she's not with the family doesn't mean necessarily she's dead. Okay, good.
Also, she embarrassed everyone in front of the Sausalito, so she feels sort of shamed by her friends and family.
Mirabella?
And if she goes back, she'd be shamed. And wolves often, if they're shamed, like they're the alpha and they're beaten, they would go and be a lone wolf. That's what I think she's doing.
So you're agreeing with Miguel?
Yeah.
She could be, okay. Jared, there's just like some dark, ooh, this is some ominous language that suggests she didn't make it.
I do see like what we just read, but I'm looking for a certain text detail, because it says I don't remember where exactly it was, but it said you couldn't show Mirabella any kindness because then she'll like get attached to you. So I don't think she's worried about whether they shun her or not, because I think she just is just there because she's loyal to them. So I still think that she would run back at least to the place to try to help her sister out.
Here's the dark language. If you notice, they sort of like practically equated not becoming human with death. Like it was like they're like, if you don't do this, you're doomed. You're not going to be accepted by anyone. So that makes so of course they use dark language because it's sort of like being thrown out by everyone.
Or maybe she was going back, but she never made it back.
On page 241, when Mirabella bit Jeanette's ankle, the text states, I ignored her and continued down the hall. This shows that Claudette is having confidence by trying to ignore the way that Mirabella is acting towards Jeanette. So it shows that she's trying to act more human-like, because if she still wanted to act wolf-like, then she would have went back.
One of the learning targets today was I can engage in a rich evidence-based conversation. And really, I think it's important to stress the rationale behind that this is all moving to help them build themselves as college and career ready. These are, skills that will really serve them well.
Excellent focus. People were on task, participating in a really positive way. The conversations that I popped in on were especially rich and evidence-based. And our first two we already talked about. Lots of strong evidence in there that you used to support your opinions and your analysis. That was excellent. And the annotations were also really good.